When I started, after I started getting more into film, of course, you think, okay, well, maybe I should do the acting too, because you're not working every day, so you try to find more things. The more you can do, the more employable you are. Um, and I've pursued the acting to a certain degree, but it requires a different level of commitment, or a different commitment, I should say. Stunts, you're training and you're practicing your physical skills, and then there's a performance aspect to it too. The acting, it's the workflow is a little bit different. When you get an audition, you have to study your lines. You've got to train in an acting class. You've got to memorize lines if you get a callback. So you kind of have to put this. You kind of have to make this big investment to actually go after a job. Whereas with stunts, once you've worked with certain people,
And
it
the
might just
lines are always the same.
yeah.
Every movie is the same line, right?
Well, you're kind of already trained, right? And you already kind of know what you're
Exactly,
expected to
it's kind
do.
of- yeah.
But also once you've worked with a coordinator or a fight choreographer, they they know what you're about. They know what to expect from you. So it can be as simple as, "Hey, are you available?" "Yeah, I am." "Okay, you're booked." Whereas with acting, even if you've worked with that director before, you always have to go in and audition until you get to, Tom Cruise level.
Oh,
It's a bit of a mixed bag, I have to say. I do love stunts. That's where I got my start. That's where I'll always have an attachment to that. I, I think that being an Asian, I would love to see more Asian roles other than Thug Number Five or Thug Number 56. Um, but I think those opportunities are limited because the way that those roles tend to get written tend to be very stereotypical. And for me, there's a bit of angst or a bit of resentment in terms of playing those roles. And sometimes I think I put myself in the position where I'm a little bit too judgmental of a role before I walk into that auditioning room. And so I think there's room for growth there. I think it's changing, but it may not be quite there yet. I have an interest in producing. That's the direction I'm moving in. Part of that is motivated by the ability or the potential ability to create roles that I would like to see Asians cast in. Um, that time, I think there's going to be a time where Asians are not being cast because they're Asian. It's just because they're a good actor or they have a certain charisma or charm. And but before we get there, I think somebody has to kind of, well, before we get there, there have to be those opportunities for actors to kind of grow in those roles. Um, but yeah, I mean, like my interest in producing is partially motivated by the fact that I would love to have the ability to create those roles where we cast Asian actors, not specifically because they're Asian,
Yeah,
but
it's
because
nothing
they're
to do with
good,
yeah.
because they're good actors, or because people find them interesting, or because they have their own audience, or whatever they can bring to the table. It's not necessarily related to the color of their skin.